Hello and a warm welcome to the Sweet Spot, your go-to golf tipping show, brought to you by the Racing Post. It's Jack Reeve and it's Steve Palmer to look back on the Qatar Masters and to preview the Worldwide Technology Championship. And Steve, I think the story of the last few weeks, we've been teased, we've been poked, and then spat out on the final few holes. Bobby McIntyre gave us hope and confidence through the week, but it was Sami Välimäki that got the job done in Qatar.
Yeah, frustration. A frustrating week, Jack. I think adult life is built on a foundation of frustration. I think the most successful people are those that accept that fact and stay calm amid the frustration. But Bobby McIntyre, as we like to call him now, was looking really good at times. He was looking really good. He got to the top of the leaderboard on Saturday. I was feeling fairly confident on Saturday. We were going to have a great chance. He was favourite for a long time. But then that double bogey at the 15th hole of round 3, that was a key moment. You know, he got a tad aggressive on that shot and pulled his approach into the water. And then he played his final 22 holes of the tournament in 1 over par. Didn't make a birdie in the final round until the 12th. Ended up tied for 6th place with 2 others.
It's difficult, isn't it? I think you mentioned last week in regards to Sung Jae Im, you'd almost rather your player just miss the cut and get it over and done with. I mean, but Bobby McIntyre just took it to all new extremes. Just as you thought he was starting to fade, he then holes out for eagle from 100 or whatever yards.
Yes.
You think, when that fell, I thought, okay, like this is meant to be, Steve. We're on to something good here. And unfortunately it wasn't. But, you know, Sami Välimäki, a big price win. I think he went off about 85 to 1. I mean, I doubt many people would have had him, but has won in Oman before. I mean, not completely off the radar.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm glad McIntyre didn't miss the cut because he did deliver the full each way payout for top 8 back, as I always play top 8 these days. And he tied for 6th with 2 other players, so that was good. I mean, Thunderbell Olesen was the big disappointment because he finished 9th. So top 8 backers had heartache there. Sami Välimäki, I think 66 to 1 generally. He won the Oman Open. You remember the Oman Open in 2020? Yeah, so he's got that Middle East victory under his belt already. He was 5th in the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai that year. So we knew he enjoyed desert golf. We were on him at a fancy price in the BMW International at the end of June, and he contended there. But he shot a Sunday 75. I remember his Sunday 75, and he went on my naughty list then, Jack. You know, I have a naughty list. You might have a naughty list for other reasons, knowing you. I just didn't want to back him for a little while. I thought he'd become a little bit brittle in contention, but going up against Jorge Campillo in a duel probably as easy as it gets, really. I mean, Campillo didn't do a lot wrong.
I've always quite respected Campillo. Quite a steady competitor. Didn't do a lot wrong, did he? No,
I agree. He didn't do a lot wrong. He was unlucky. He's a steady Eddie. He's a plodder, but I want players with a bit more dynamism at Doha. And that's a back 9. If you've got a bit of length, you can really rack up the birdie. So I fancy Välimäki when it became between those two. But Välimäki's career is flying now. We talk about these PGA Tour cards that you get from the Race to Dubai standings. He'll be sniffing around them now. He's only 25. Both his victories have come in playoffs. He's won twice, and they've both been in playoffs. So he's clearly got a bit of metal about him. So the future's bright for Sami Välimäki.
I did have a slight giggle to myself, Steve. In the back of my mind, I had Steve Palmer's weather forecasting going. Calm, nice and sunny. And then I switched the TV on. There was sandstorms blowing through. I mean,
it was that first.
What are you reading?
The first afternoon, it was the first afternoon the sandstorms come in. I mean, that wasn't why play was initially that halted play for a bit, but it was thunder came in. Thunder was the reason that we got the longer suspension. We had 3 players out on the worst side of the draw. There was a bit of a draw bias last week, and Thunder Bear was on the wrong side of the draw. Thunder Bear did well to get 9th place, having been out in the thunder. Perhaps if they'd let Thunder Bear out in the thunder, it would have been okay. It didn't.
Where are we at? If we're writing Bobby McIntyre's end of term report, Steve, what are we grading him? Because for me, clearly a top talent. Loved watching him in the Ryder Cup. I just never feel overly confident when he's kind of going down the stretch with something on the line, just kind of fades away. Do you know what I mean? Almost like he's too nice.
Yeah. I know what you're getting at, and we'll save the grades for the end of the season. He's got a big end of the season to come. It's just a few blunders at key moments, wasn't it, at the weekend? He closed round 3 with a 6 at the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the course. That was a horrible 6 at the closer. And then he opened round 4 with a 6. The first hole, another par 5. I mean, those 2 holes were killer blows. And that first hole in round 4, Jack, it's a par 5. And after 2 shots, he's 20 yards from the hole in the fairway. And he took another 3 shots to get on the green. I mean, I'm watching. I don't know what you're up to. I was watching. That was early on Sunday morning. I was watching a film with the family. I thought I'll commit to Goosebumps, which was this Halloween film. And then once Goosebumps was finished, the coverage would just be coming on the telly. I can go and watch the go. So I committed to Goosebumps with Sky Go in the corner, and I was out checking the 20 yards from the hole in 2 shots. Likely to pick up a birdie on the first hole, and then all of a sudden it turns into a 6. He's had an absolute nightmare around the green there. Yeah, that was more of a horror than anything that was Halloweeny on the telly there. And yeah, it was hard for him to recover from that, and it took him ages to recover from that, and it was too late because the others were playing steady. Yeah, I know what you're getting at. He is nice, and he is a family man, isn't he? And this shows what you're dealing with. This talk of getting a PGA Tour card, I think he's going to achieve it from the Race to Dubai rankings. I saw an interview with him last week where he's actually says he's still mulling over whether to accept it if he gets one.
Really?
Yeah. This is.
He's from, what is it, Oban, the little village, or Oban, or something like that.
That's it. You're absolutely right. He loves Oban, and he loved all his family around there, and he loves playing shinty. And they don't play much shinty in America. And he was talking about what's more important, work or life, and I still think it must be massively odds on that he accepts the PGA Tour card. If he's going to further his career, he's going to have to give up the shinty, concentrate on his golfing career. I think he'll take the card because he's massively odds on to get one of them now. He moved up to 8th in the Race to Dubai rankings. And what you must bear in mind, we didn't mention this as a key point. It's the top 10 in the Race to Dubai rankings who haven't already got a PGA Tour card. So you can, Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, Victor Hovland, they're in the top 10. So, do you see what I'm getting at? So it drops down. Vincent Norman is in 11th place in the Race to Dubai, I believe. So as things stand, Bobby Mack is in 8th place, but that is essentially 4th place, if you know what I'm getting at. You've got Raul Hasasuna, or Raul Hasasuna, however you like to pronounce it. He's in 14th place in the Race to Dubai. As things stand, we'll get a PGA Tour card for next year. Wow. So, this strategic alliance has created such an opportunity for the DP World Tour boys to get on into the big time. And I'd love to see Raul Hasasuna on the PGA Tour, and I'm sure you would. But can you be? I mean, you love East Anglia, don't you?
I was about to say, Steve. Let's because I thought we were quite meaningful, and we were looking into the minds of the golfers last week. So let's do that again. So Steve Palmer, he's tightened up his driving somewhat. I know your putting's already down to a PGA Tour level, so that's fine. Your iron play has gone kind of laser finding, and you're on the tour, and you've been offered a PGA Tour card. Do you leave Weymouth you're earning a good living? You can come back and watch Goosebumps on a Sunday with the kids, or do you jet off to America and you're living in a hotel from week to week? What decision do you make?
Well, Robert McIntyre, or Bobby as we like to call him, hasn't got any kids, is he? And I think that's a key thing. I mean, you basically are the priority in your life until you have kids, and then when you have kids, you basically accept that your life is meaningless, and the most important things in your life are your kids. So I would have decisions to make there that Bobby McIntyre hasn't got. I mean, I can't believe Bobby McIntyre's putting shinty and seeing his mates down the pub ahead of PGA Tour glory. He admitted himself that he feels like the only major he can win at the moment is the Open, because he's based over here, and he says if he has to go over there to have a chance of winning the other 3. I think he's absolutely right. Yeah. For me, it would be a tough decision because yeah, I wouldn't want my daughter to leave her school. You know, as I say, when you got kids, it's a different game. But Bobby, if you're watching, son, I think you'll regret it. I think you'll regret it if you don't give yourself that opportunity, as Graham Taylor would say. You know, take your opportunity; it's there for you, and wring every little bit out of it. And it must have been a sudden wobble, because there were times where he was going on play Corn Ferry Tour events, trying to desperately get onto the PGA Tour. Now it's like in his lap, and he's having these sort of last thoughts about missing the shinty and whatnot. Go for it, mate.
I agree. And, you know, when Bobby's 65 and he walks back into the pub in his village, he can go, you know what, son, you know, this is the John Deere Classic that I won in 2026. Yeah. I mean, that'll be a great feeling, won't it? You know? I love that over a pint of what did Scots drink? Oh, a glass of whiskey or something.
They do like a whiskey, yeah. I mean, he's capable of winning better tournaments than that. He's been on Masters leaderboards, hasn't he? I just think he needs to, really sort of believe in himself a little bit more, and realise that, all the things he's leaving behind will still be there for him when he comes back. No one's going to say, "Oh, Bobby's gone now. Bloody hate Bobby. Sod him. Not getting him a drink anymore. Not playing shinty with him anymore." All of those guys are going to be cheering you on. And then watching, they can come over. There are things called aeroplanes. They can come over. You can go and see them. You'll go over there. If you go over there and win a designated elevated event, you're absolutely set up for life. And you could move everyone over from Oban. You could create a mini Oban in Florida. I guess they all end up in bloody Florida.
That would be excellent, wouldn't it? That would be absolutely. Yeah. So when you go to Dubai, and there's these kind of so many expats flown over. There's now like kind of British pub type remakes, and it all feels a little bit strange, but equally you have got that little corner of comfort in the middle of the desert. It's quite nice.
Exactly. And he could even start his own shinty team over there, can't he? It's all coming together now. Like, David Beckham essentially bought his own football team over there, hasn't he? Why can't Robert McIntyre win a few designated elevated events, become absolutely minted, start a shinty empire, bring all the best shinty players from all over the world into wherever he wants to live in America, and then I think I think we've convinced him now, haven't we? Surely
the Seattle Shinties or something.
Seattle Shinties, yeah.
Right, yeah. Steve. Enough about Bobby McIntyre life advice. Should we get on to this week's tournament, or have you got any other little nuggets from the Qatar Masters that you want to discuss?
Well, I just thought we must mention it because it is related to what's happening in the PGA Tour. I mean, we are in the PGA Tour full season now, and there's only 3 events left for players to retain their playing rights for next season. There's a few players on the bubble, as they like to say. And last week I thought it was quite heartwarming. I don't know how you felt to see those players who made it. It meant a lot to players to finish in the top 116 of the race in Dubai and retain DP World Tour playing rights for next year. And you had some old favourites like Ross Fisher was on the bubble. Scott Jamieson. I love saying the word bubble. I didn't know how much I enjoyed that. Remember that Little Britain character, Bubbles De Vere?
Bubbles, yes.
Bubbles De Vere. Scott Jamieson. Great effort from him. He nearly won the Ruddy Golf Tournament, let alone. And Alexander Nappy. I must give him a mention, Mr. Nappy. Yeah. One of my son's favourites. My son was very concerned that Mr. Nappy had got himself in the crappie, and Mr. Nappy got out of the crappie last week with a great performance.
What was his name? Tapio Pulkinen. Is that how you say it?
Tapio Pulkinen.
The chap who wears the funny hat.
Yeah. Did he make it?
Isn't he?
Yeah. Did he make it or did he not make it?
I think I saw an interview where they said, he's really going down to the wire here, and it was like, just popped down the shops. He was so calm. He's like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I was like, well, fair enough. But it's your career on the line here, Tapio.
He's a very cool cucumber, isn't he, that fella? Mm-hmm. He wears his silly hat and just, he obviously glides through life. Yeah, humans are very, very different, isn't they? There was loads of emotion from Alexander Nappy and the little fella he was playing with, Angel Hidalgo. They both made it. We're having a little cuddle afterwards. Me and my son delighted that Alexander Nappy is still in our lives.
It must be lovely to be that calm and collected, Steve, mustn't it?
Yeah, blimey, yeah. I don't know whether I ever have been.
Should we get on to this week's tournament?
Are you born this way, Jackie? Are you born?
I think some
calm.
of it's sport. I think some of it's genetics, isn't it? I mean, you look at some people and they just ooze kind of, and you just can't imagine them ever being stressed.
Come out the womb not crying.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably a concern, isn't it, when that happens?
Yeah, probably is. But I struggle for calm, I must admit. But there's still time. There's still time.
Well, I think I'm sensing clarity and composure going into this week's tournament from you, Steve. So we've got the Worldwide Technology Championship, and I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but you are wearing red, and that only usually happens for a few reasons.
Yeah.
So talk us through the course that we're playing at this week, and maybe the reason why you're wearing red, or is it orange Halloween?
No. It is. You're right. It's blood red. It is blood red. No, it is related to this, and it's very exciting, I might add. That's going to hook some. That's going to keep some viewers with us, because we have been talking absolute nonsense for 20 minutes. We're at El Cardinal at Diamante, Los Cabos, Mexico. 7,452 yards, par 72, 4 par 5s. El Camaleon at Mayakoba has been the traditional home of this event. But it was a live defector in February, much like the heartache that DP World Tour fans are having with Valderrama. Yeah, we mentioned this a few weeks ago, didn't we? Valderrama defected to the live money bags. PGA Tour fans have lost El Camaleon to live golf money bags. But this defection has a much happier ending for me, because it means that a Tiger Woods designed golf course is appearing on the PGA Tour. The first time this has ever happened. Yeah, the first time this has ever happened. We can get our Tiger Woods outfits out, because this course you're going to be seeing this week has been crafted by the greatest golfer in history. El Cardinal, designed by TGR Design. That's his course design company. He's taken the vowels out of his name, TGR Design. So yeah, we can spend the week talking about Tiger Woods, which is always welcome for me. He's obviously becoming increasingly irrelevant in the golfing world. I don't think he's going to win another trophy. And personally, it's really difficult for me, because my son's middle name is Tiger. He's already asking me why, we're not watching golf tournaments. Tiger Woods is not in any of the golf tournaments we're watching together. So it's quite a hard one to justify at the moment. So I always desperately try and find a way of talking about Tiger Woods. Like they were making their pumpkin in the kitchen the other day, a very good example. And you slice open the top of the pumpkin, and they were putting the candle in. Just as I came in the kitchen, they were putting the candle in the pumpkin. Light the candle, Tiger! Light the candle, Tiger! And
did he jump out of his skin and went, "Dad, are you okay?"
Well, I got the usual look of disdain. The is Dad okay question. But I just like to have the opportunity to get him relevant, get Tiger involved in the conversations. And we used to love shouting at Tiger, didn't we?
I'm just trying to think, are there any other famous Tiger commentary lines that you could drop into everyday life? There must be some, mustn't there?
Have you ever seen anything like that? Is always a good one. There's always opportunities, but unfortunately you need people around you that are golf fans to notice. Whenever a candle comes out, I will shout that, and then one day Tiger will understand what I mean. But yeah, we can spend all week talking about Tiger.
Does this mean, Steve, Tiger, best golfer of all time, it's supremely talented? Will this course be remarkably difficult because he wants to do the test, and he might just think it's easy? Or what are we expecting?
It is actually, as far as I can tell, it looks to me really easy. Really
long,
easy.
Isn't it? Long.
It's long, but you've got wide fairways. There's hardly any rough. The greens are enormous. Some of the biggest greens I've seen in a long while. I think this is going to be a birdie fest, Jack. It's heavily undulated. That's going to make it quite difficult. Heavily undulated, and they don't get much rain in this area. There's only 6 inches of rain all year, apparently. So it's really dry paspalum. Different to East Anglia. I think it's going to be a birdie fest, to be honest with you. And there's not a great deal of wind around either.
Excited for the course, excited to hear Steve's tips. Let's have a look at the top of the market. Prices correct at time of recording. Ludwig Eber is your favourite, 17-2. Cameron Young, 12. Sahith Theegala, 14s. Bo Hostler, 25-1. Stefan Jaeger, 25-1. Lucas Glover, 28. Bigger the rest. Steve, as you take a big glug of vitamin-enhanced water, how many selections for the Worldwide Technology Championship?
3.
Oh, I thought you were going to do. I thought you were riling yourself up for a big 4 then.
No. 3. Don't be disappointed. 3's
not disappointed.
3's a crowd.
Okay. Who's the main tip for this week?
It is Sahith Theegala at general 14-1. Very easy to back at 14-1. He's the third name in the betting this week. I've got great respect for the two names ahead of him in the market. Ludwig Aubert, Cameron Young. I think they could both take a shine to this course as well. But Theegala is the bigger price. And I give him as much chance of winning this as the other two. I may even go so far as to say that Theegala should be slight favourite over Aubert. Certainly at the prices on offer, the best value. Yeah, the general prices on offer, the best value is Theegala. You get 9-1 Aubert generally, 12-1 Young generally, 14-1 Theegala generally. I have to be with Theegala there because Aubert and Young are not the best putters. If Aubert has got a weakness, it is putting. Putting's always been a bugbear of Young. There are plenty of long putts to negotiate this week. These greens are massive. There's going to be loads of lag putts, loads of three putts. And Aubert and Young could suffer on those greens. They're both PGA Tour maidens, of course. I know it's Aubert, obviously, has only just come onto the scene, hasn't had many chances. But that first win is always the most difficult one to get. Young has played in 50 PGA Tour events now. He's blown a lot of chances. And he hasn't played, the key point for Young, he hasn't played a competitive round since August 20. Remember, he got snubbed for the Ryder Cup wildcard pick, even though Fred Couples said he was definitely going to get one. Theegala doesn't have any of these negatives. Great putter. Great putter. You'd back him to two putt from anywhere. These large greens are a positive for Theegala. Secondly, already a PGA Tour champion. That's two significant edges over the two players ahead of him in the betting. Theegala won the Fortinet Championship for us in the middle of last month. That was a cosy two-shot victory, Jack. I mean, he two shots flattered the chasing pack. And that followed a solid FedEx Cup playoffs campaign, 13th in Memphis, 15th in Illinois. I can't say Illinois. Can you say Illinois for me?
Illinois. There you go.
15th in Illinois.
Tonight, Steve, you need to keep typing. And also, do you ever get that thing where you must type the word golf so many times that it no longer looks like a word? Is that
do you know what? Do you know? Yeah, that is a thing. And you often, occasionally, you can get, if you're texting someone, you can change it to gold. And the one positive about Tiger Woods, being essentially retired now, is that I won't write Tiger. Is that I won't.
How have you got this conversation back to Tiger Woods?
Because you planted one in you planted a seed in there. I can hear ambulances. Is that you or is that me?
It's not me.
Oh, there's ambulances. They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me to put me in the mental hospital. I've written about Tiger Woods my whole career, and so many times I used to write Tiger Woofs by accident because F and D are right next to each other on the keypad. So Tiger Woofs used to appear in my copy sometimes, and obviously, if tigers did woof, I could get away with it, but they don't woof, unfortunately. They growl. What are we talking about? Why are we talking about
Illinois? I was saying
Illinois. I need to work on that.
And you should keep saying it, keep typing it. I mean, that's Illinois, difficult one.
There's more to say. Yeah, there's more to say. I was in full flow there until I couldn't get Illinois out. Tiger Woofs.
There you go. You weren't thinking about it.
Tiger Woofs. And then, he's only played once since that Fortinet victory, Sahith Theegala, 19th in the Zozo Championship. So we've got a 25-year-old rising star. He's full of form and confidence, and he's virtually playing in his home state this week. We must make this point. We've only got one tournament. We can make our points as substantively as we like. The Fortinet was a home state glory. The Fortinet was in California. This week's event is in what is known as Lower California.
Okay.
I think you're going to find this fascinating, Jack. California used to be a Mexican territory. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
California, many moons ago, California was a Mexican territory. And then this section of California was left as part of Mexico when the rest was ceded to the United States. We're going back a ruddy long way here. I think 1848 maybe. But the point is, Theegala and the rest of the Californians are extremely comfortable in Lower California. Tiger Woods, if I can get the conversation back to him, says the course reminds him it's like the ones he used to play when he was growing up in California.
Okay.
Theegala, born in California, college star in California, has quickly built a great PGA Tour record in California. And we must also mention the grasses, Jack.
You like your grasses, Steve, yeah.
Well, particularly when we're on Paspalum, because there's not that many Paspalum grass courses on the main circuit. So we're playing on Paspalum this week. Thigala was 22nd in the Corrales Punta Cana Championship last year on Paspalum. It was world number 127 going into that. So he liked the Paspalum in the Dominican Republic. That's even harder than Illinois. Dominican Republic. And he was also 24th in the Mexico Open last year on Paspalum grass. He was world number 125 going into that. So now he's playing on Paspalum. He's at world number 29. He's going to love it.
I never realized how much of a difference different grass types made, but I think it was in this tournament a few years ago when you were talking about Hovland, because he went back to back in this, didn't he? I know it was a course, but you were like, he just loves this grass. I'm like, oh, surely players don't care about grasses that much. And
yeah,
Steve, should have trusted you.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, you should always trust me. I'll cover you in diamonds eventually. But yeah, Hovland loves Paspalum. Thigala seems to like that, but just the shape of this track as well. He's got loads of rooms. Thigala can be wild off the tee. He can be as wild as he likes around here. Very, very wide fairways. His iron play is great. His short game is mustard. I think everything points to Sahith Thigala.
Looking forward to it, Steve. Sahith Thigala, Steve Palmer's #1 selection for this. 2 more to go. Who's next?
Cameron Champ, 50-1. Cameron Champ, another Californian who will feel right at home this week. Another Californian who has won a PGA Tour title in the Golden State, the 2019 Safeway Open. Champ has won 3 PGA Tour titles in total. He's 28 years of age. He's always had superstar potential. Injury problems have hampered progress. I wondered whether some injury issues had resurfaced when he pulled out of the Barbasol Championship on tournament eve in July. We were on him for that, and he pulled out, got our money back, but I was a little bit disappointed. But it wasn't anything to do with any injuries. He had a baby was imminent. A baby has arrived on the scene. Champ became a father at the end of July. A son he has named Beckham.
What first name?
First name Beckham. Beckham Champ.
Wow, that's a bold name, isn't it? Beckham. I've never heard that first name.
No, nor have I. I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, obviously it coincided with the Netflix documentary about the Beckhams. I don't know whether he's just taken a shine to Beckham, bend it like Beckham Champ. I don't know. I really can't get my head around that. But it's not a bad name, is it? Let's not start a witch hunt.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I don't hate it, but it just seems quite strange, Steve.
It's nice to see a bit of originality, I suppose. I mean, these days originality is dead, isn't it? Yeah.
They called it Barbasol Beckham. If he
Barbasol Beckham.
That's a good name. Barbasol Beckham Champ.
Yeah. Barbie for short. Yeah, I like that. Maybe if he has a girl, he'd call her Barbasol and then Barbie for short. But yeah, for whatever reason, Beckham Champ is on the scene. And it took Champ a little while to get going again. You'll find this out one day, Jack. I mean, fatherhood just derails you for a bit, potentially
You're not
forever.
selling fatherhood very much.
No. Come on, now they're the apples of my eyes. But yeah, Champ seems to be getting going again now. Yeah, 9th place in the Sanderson Farms was encouraging. 18th spot in the Shriners was equally encouraging. I wouldn't read too much into the Zozo last time out. I don't think that course is great for him. Champ is fit. He's swinging well again. Nobody has more ball speed than him on the PGA Tour. I mean, he still makes his peers' jaws drop. Max Homer played with him at the Fortinet Championship recently and just was waxing lyrical about Champ's drive, and it is spectacular. And I think he's ready to put it all together now. And in what seems an ideal assignment for him, like Thigala, the wide fairways are a massive positive for Champ. And he's also proven on Paspalum. He was 10th on his Al Camaleon debut in 2018. The old Mayakoba venue was Paspalum as well. He was 6th in the Mexico Open that we've already mentioned last year, and he was 8th in that event this year. So there's Champ at 50s is a glorious wager.
If Cameron Champ does get the job done, which I'm sure he's got a very good chance, do you think we'll see baby Beckham kind of brought up to Cameron on the green and tears and all of that goodness?
Good question. I think maybe they live in Texas, don't they? So it's quite a long way for little baby Beckham to come. I think Champ would put family first and leave Beckham at home. Okay. Yeah, I think that's doubtful. I'm going to give my nose a bit of a A scratch, if that's right with you, Jack.
You scratch away, Steve. Yeah, absolutely scratch away. Okay, Cameron Tramp next on the list for the Worldwide Technology Championship. For audio listeners, Steve is giving his more than just his nose a rub there, sticking to his face. I must say, for video viewers, you got to enjoy all of that. Who's third on the list, Steve?
Third and final, Luke List. 40-1 Luke List. 40-1 Luke List is a surprisingly big prize, isn't it? How well he's been playing in the last month and a half. He was 25th in the Fortinet Championship. Then he won the Sanderson Farms Championship. Then he was 18th in the Shriners Children's Open. He won the Sanderson Farms with an enormous putt in the playoff. And List has admitted afterwards in interviews that the putter is the club which makes or breaks his season. You know, he's always hitting the ball well. Luke List is a super consistent ball striker, but he's had these massive slumps with the putter. You know, he's your worst putter on the tour for a long time. But then he'll suddenly find some flat stick form, and you've got a complete package. And in the build up to his maiden PGA Tour title in January last year at Torrey Pines, some of you remember that one. It was a good tournament, Farmers Insurance Open. He'd made some good putting strides with a new putting coach.
Okay.
Stephen Sweeney, and he had enough confidence from his sessions with Stephen Sweeney to putt well enough to go over the line in front. And in the build up to the Sanderson Farms the other day, he'd been working with a new putting coach again, Cameron McCormick. Cameron McCormick convinced him to switch to the claw putting grip, and yeah. But it's working for Luke List, and the putts have started dropping. Yeah, Luke List says he's suddenly expecting putts to go in, whereas before, so many years he was expecting them to miss. So he's had this upturn in fortunes with the putter, and I want to follow Luke List when he's in a good mood with the putter, because as I say, as a ball striker, there's a few more consistent. And this week's assignment looks a great fit for him. All my 3 tips have won a PGA Tour title in California. We're in Lower California. List has finished second in a Corn Ferry Tour event in Panama, which is just south of Mexico. He was fourth in a Corn Ferry Tour event in Colombia, just south of Mexico. He was sixth in a Corn Ferry Tour event in Mexico. He was 15th in the 2016 Puerto Rico Open on Paspalum grass. He was 7th at El Camaleon last year as well, Paspalum grass. He was 13th in the 2017 CIMB Classic on Paspalum grass, Kuala Lumpur. He was 8th. I can tell I'm boring you now, but
no, not at all.
Yeah, there's so much here. I mean, I'll finish. I'll wrap it up. He was 8th in the 2020 Corrales Punta Cana, Paspalum grass. Luke List is in fantastic nick. He eats paspalum for breakfast. he should fall in love with this week's venue.
Putting's a weird one, Steve, isn't it? Because it should be so simple. One of the nastiest things someone ever said to me, I was having a putting lesson a couple of years ago. I was just, really struggling over 6-8 feet putts. And then he said, okay, the pro said, okay, just hit a couple of putts for me. Let me see what's going on. And, I missed them, obviously. And he said, what do you think you're doing wrong? And I said, well, don't know. That's what I'm asking you. And I'll never forget, he said, your body is very wonky. He called me wonky. And I thought.
Called you a wonky donkey, did he?
That's not something to call a man, is it? Wonky. He said, your shoulders are all out of, your neck's all over the shot. I mean, I was 23 at the time. You should be wonky at 23, should you? And I think from that point onwards, I've been half the man, Steve.
I don't think you'll ever recover from that. I mean, at 23, he's 23 and he's branding you a wonker. I think. Wow, what did you say back to him? I mean, you're too nice to. You should have told it. You should have. Well, I'm not paying you money to be called a wonker.
No, make me less wonky, I guess.
How do you make a man less wonky?
That is the $1 million question, isn't it? That really is. I don't know.
I suppose you need to fatten yourself up. So. You need to fatten up, I suppose, to become less wonky.
Well, I think I've done that quite well, to be honest.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's probably why you're reacting to it. Yeah. I'm sorry you went through that, Jack.
No, if you want to get it off your chest, isn't it?
If you want to talk to me about this off air, we can continue after the show and work through these issues.
Airing my worries. Okay, so just the 3 for the Worldwide Technology. Steve, run us through them once more.
Just the 3, and it's. I'm not just having 3 because I'm feeling cocky about this. I think it's a difficult golf tournament. I respect Ludwig Aubert. I respect Cameron Young even after the long break, but I think the putting will be an issue for him this week. But there's other Akshay Bhatia, massively good form on Paspalum. Akshay Bhatia, Davis Riley. I didn't dare name Davis Riley, but I think he's got a good chance at decent price. And Davis Thompson's another one. They were the 8 names that I was in my melting pot, and I just decided that I think I needed so many eggs in the Sahith Theegala basket that I couldn't have any more than 3. So yeah, it's just a reminder. That's what you asked, wasn't it? Sorry before I went off on one.
Everyone's jotted those down. Steve, what have you, last time we spoke, last Tuesday, you were off to Yeovil. You described the place as a slightly different name to watch the footy. How did that end?
Well, Yeovil are top of the league. We knew it was going to be difficult. I mean, our boys played well, I'd say. Yeah, they battled well. We conceded an early goal from a very dubious decision. There was a suspicion of handball, and they scored from that free kick. So yeah, dubious early goal went in. We battled well, scared the life out of the league leaders, and then they got a late one when we were chasing the game. So yeah, we lost 2-0.
Okay. Any trouble?
Unbelievably well-mannered game, actually. I mean, yeah, we got some decent chance firing their way, but I think Sir Bobby Charlton was to blame for bringing the mood into civility, because the minute silence for Sir Bobby before the game was impeccably observed, as rightly so. And I think that got everyone in a sort of mood, a bit more unity about the place than normal, in our mutual respect for Sir Bobby.
Well, that's good. It only took the death of a legend to make sure there were no arrests at even Weymouth.
That's it. But yeah. I think Weymouth and Norwich are in similar league positions, which probably distresses you greatly.
Well, I'm hoping, golf is usually the sport that brings me joy. So I'm hoping this week Sahith Theegala will put smiles on faces, because I certainly can't rely on anything else at the moment to put a smile.
Oh, that's a shame. What about Halloween? You going out for a Halloween party or something?
I've carved a pumpkin. So that's gone out on the doorstep. No, I'm not really a fancy dress man, Steve, I must say.
You're not trick-or-treating?
Well, I think I'm a bit old for that, aren't I? What's the cut for trick-or-treating? You can get away with it if you've got kids, but I think if I were to walk around the village dressed in a bin bag, it'd probably be calls to the police. That doesn't feel socially acceptable, I don't think.
No, I think you're right. No, I didn't know whether you had any nephews or nieces you could bring into play, but no, you won't be doing it. I mean, I won't be dressing up this year, because
do your kids like trick-or-treating?
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, I'll have to go. The weather forecast is poor, but I'll take an umbrella and probably play the caddy role, because I don't think I'm going to be dressing up. I have dressed up in the past as Freaky Steve, which involves dressing up in one of my wife's tight black dresses.
Wow.
With a Michael Van Gogh mask on, and a Moana hairpiece. Do you know Moana? You've seen that film. So that combination is spectacularly scary. But my daughter's of an age now where she gets too embarrassed by it, so she's banned Freaky Steve from making an appearance.
Are there any villagers, Steve, that just hate? That you always get that grumpy kind of old lady that will slam the door. Any of those about, or is everyone quite nicely mannered?
You'll learn all the rules and regulations when you have kids, but there is terms and conditions. If there's not a pumpkin in the window, then you're not allowed to approach that house. The pumpkin is basically the sign that you're up for a bit of banter. And if it's dark, people turn off all their lights if they don't want to get involved. You've got to be a real sort of scumbag really to go up to a house where all the lights are off and there's no pumpkin. That's just scaring old ladies. That's not nice, is it?
I didn't realise there was such trick-or-treating etiquette.
There is. I'll email you one day about it.
Steve, thank you very much. What have we got to preview next week? Got a couple back next week, haven't we?
We've had this. We've had a run. We've had 2 weeks in a row, just one golf tournament, which is not enough for man nor beast, is it? So we're back in the rhythm next week. There's even a triple header at the end of November. We'll get back in double mode next week. Don't you worry.
That's annoying. I'm going to have to start talking about golf again rather than other things.
That's it.
Steve, thank you very much as always. Thanks to everyone at home for tuning in to the sweet spot. Remember to always gamble responsibly. Only ever stake money that you can afford to lose. As we said, we'll be back next week to preview 2 tournaments. Until then, stay safe, enjoy trick-or-treating, and we'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.